So welcome to our first team time of 2019. I'm Kevin Rogerson. If you haven't been up here before, you don't know my face, that's who I am. And I'm super excited for all of y'all to be up here. We got 10 right now, which is great. If you could hop in, I think Mom Terry's already hopped in there. If y'all don't know, Terry's my mom. So you'll hear me call her mom. She is a health coach, and she does an amazing job helping people as well. So hop in there, say hey, say where you're from, so everybody can kind of get to know each other and put a face with a location. Tonight, we're really just going to talk about basic stuff, and then we're going to finish up with that graphic that I showed you, because I think that's a real key as we move forward in 2019 to being able to, build your business, because everything's going to come off of simplification. So make everything as simple as possible, but also make things that are easy to duplicate. And that's how, when you start bringing up coaches and growing a business, you're able to pass these skills to other people, and they can do it. So that's a really, really important piece of being able to grow a business, is to be able to duplicate what you do to help clients. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started with this PowerPoint I got. All right. So rocket into your goals. And I'm a very visual person, so of course I'm going to have some rocket ships and stuff on this presentation. So if you're not a fan of rockets, I'm sorry. I think everybody loves rockets, but you can see the correlation. So this is what we're going to talk about, growing your business into 2019 and beyond, because as you know, as health coaches, it's so important if you can put emphasis on not only where you want to be in a very short amount of time, but if you can start looking ahead to your future goals and start building into those goals and building into your why. We're going to talk about that tonight, but that's essential for you as a business person to grow your business, and also really good for you to start trying to integrate your clients into that way of thinking as well. Even if they're not, coach potential, or you don't think they're going to become a coach, if you can start getting someone to think about not just the immediate results they're looking for, but the things that they're trying to look for down the road, you'll really help them as a person to develop those reasons why they really want to get healthy. So first off is a mindset to take launch. So we're going to ease through these things. I'm going to try and slow my talking down, because if y'all know me, then most of you know I'm a fast talker. But I think it's really important to get some of this stuff. So ask yourself, as we move into 2019 and beyond, what do you love about your life? And, if you're on right now and you got something to write down with, go ahead and write a couple of things down. It doesn't have to be specifically pertaining to your health. It can be anything you love about your life. So really just take some time to think about that and write that down. I'll give you a minute while you're thinking about that. It's so important that, we don't lose ourselves in this business and get caught up in the checklists, or doing the 3x3x3, or, making sure you're building relationships. I mean, all those things are important, but we really, at the beginning of the year, I think it's always good to kind of take a step back and really self-analyze what you love about your life, and kind of really refortify your why. So in addition to what you love, so what do you want to create more of in your life? So if you, once again, write a couple of things down, this is going to be really important as we move forward. And then start thinking about the future you. So we were talking about this. So today is, January, was it 9th? I can't keep up with the days. So January 9th or 10th. Where do you want to be by convention? So that's in July. For those of y'all that do not know when convention is, it's in the middle of July. We're going to go down to Orlando, Florida, and have Optavia National Convention. So what would you like to achieve in your business by July? Go ahead and write those things down. Write 2 or 3 things down at least that you want to achieve in your business by July, because it's good to start not only focusing on what you want to achieve, like with your map or whatever in the next month, but also start thinking about what you want to achieve, 6 months down the road from now. And then take a minute or two and also write down, where you want to be by January 2020. So that's a year from now. In a year from now, what kind of person do you want to be? Are you living in the same place? Are you working at the same job? Where do you see your health in the future, a year from now? Where do you see your business? Where do you want your business to be in 1 year from now? So go ahead and write down some of those goals. Now, what does it mean to you to achieve that goal? Because you can have great big goals and love the goals and have really clear goals, but you have to really understand what's behind those goals. And if you don't really have a solid why for why you're a coach, why you are passionate about helping other people. So get a clear picture of what your future self looks like. And then think about what it means for you to achieve the goals that you wrote down. What it means to you. How does it change you? What kind of growth do you have to be that person? What needs to happen in your life to achieve those goals? And then start thinking bigger about what does it mean to your family to achieve the goals that you wrote down? What does it change for your family? Is it something that, is pertinent to your family? Is the goals that you wrote down, is there something in those goals that is not just for you, but it also will affect your family? And then start thinking about your team. So, and when I say your team, I'm talking about your coach team, but also all your clients on your team. I think the very base, of this is if your health improves in the next year, does that, help inspire your clients to stay focused on their journey? Are you an inspiration to them? But it also, obviously means much more than that. You've heard the saying, a rising tide raises all ships. And so as we grow, as we develop personally, and as we all strive for optimal health, it raises everyone. We're all on that same mission of trying to achieve optimal health. So what does it mean for you, your family, and your team for you to achieve those goals that you wrote down? And then think about this. What if you don't? What does it mean for you if you don't reach those goals? Because I think it's great for us to set a goal and certainly go through the process of thinking how it's going to, affect us by achieving the goal. But sometimes we don't think about, what if we don't do it? How are we going to feel if we don't achieve that goal? How is your family going to be affected if you don't achieve the goal? How's your team going to be affected possibly if you don't achieve that goal? So really just put some thought into that. And it really, it gives power to your dreams, your goals, your desires, to really dive in and help understand what it really means for you to have these goals. Next, identify your passion. I wanted to go back from a visual person. So yes, this is a rocket launch, but it's not quite as big as the other one. But I love this picture, this visual, because to me, this is your family, this is your team, and that includes me, and that includes any mentors or whatever you have. We are cheering for you for these goals too. So I really wanted to go back to this and encourage you, whatever goals you have, share them. If you feel comfortable sharing them, share them in the group message, share them with your mentor, share them with your health coach, share them with your spouse, your significant other, your family. Let them be a part of your goals because it matters. It matters when everyone's on the same page. Now, identify your passion. We've been talking about this, but, is your goal big enough? And this is where, I got a little graphic for your rocket fuel, but if you can link your passion, we've talked about this before, but if you can link what you're passionate about to your goals, that's where the really magic happens, because then you become really passionate about achieving your goals because they're linked to your passion. I was talking to a client recently about these things, and, asking them, well, they were kind of struggling a little bit with the program, and I asked them what they really cared about. They really cared about their family. And we started kind of discussing the ways that them, creating more health in their life and becoming optimally healthy, how's that going to benefit their family, and what does that look like? And it was really powerful for that client to kind of go there. And it's the same for us as coaches. So whatever goals you're setting, if you can tie those to your passion. So if you're looking for more free time with your family, if you know that growing your business to this point, that's your goal, is going to create that free time for your family, then it's not just about you creating a bigger business. It's about you creating free time for your family. Does that make sense? So I think ask these questions to yourself when you're thinking about your passion and if your goal is big enough. How important is that goal to you? Because everybody can set a goal, but if it doesn't have importance, there's no significance behind your goal, then it's just something written down on a piece of paper. There's nothing significant to whether you achieve that goal or whether you don't. So really, if you have a goal like that, it's okay. It's okay to have a small goal, but think about really going big and really setting a big goal that really matters to you. And same thing again. Is your goal big enough? Does it include your family? So if you set smaller goals earlier and you're like, well, that really doesn't pertain to my family, well, set a bigger goal related to it that does pertain to your family. Something, and you don't have to think about it right this minute, but go ahead and put some thought into that as we are starting 2019. It's a great time to do these things and really write down your goals and stretch them to your bigger goals. And, a lot of times we'll hear people say your stretch goal. So your goal for this month, for instance, would be like add 3 to 4 clients, but your stretch goal is like 6 to 7. So you might not think you can do 6 to 7, but you still set that as your stretch goal because you never know what's possible. So we encourage you to do that, set bigger goals. And then to the whole world, does your passion, does your goal tie to the world? Are you going to affect the world? Obviously with being health coaches, that we are on a mission to get America healthy. That's kind of our thing. And now as we move into global, we're going to be a global company. We're on a mission to try and get the world healthy. We're trying to show them what healthy looks like and that people can pursue optimal health. So really start thinking about that, because once you tie your passion, something that you're passionate about, to Optavia and what Optavia can do to work synonymously or be in sync with your passion, then it will light a new fire in you, and you will go with this with more fervent vigor than you possibly have before, because you're working towards that goal. It doesn't become about just signing up clients, sponsoring clients, sponsoring coaches, all those little things that we do that are important. It has a bigger purpose. You're not just doing the things. And then kind of think about what it'll take. It's great to have these giant goals that we put all these layers into, and they matter to me, they matter to your family, they matter to the world, whatever. Those are great, and we need to set those goals. But it takes commitment to those goals to make them happen. So are you so passionate about that goal that it's something you're willing to commit to? Because that matters. Because commitment to the goal is what makes the goal happen. The goal just doesn't happen by chance. It's going to take massive and consistent action to achieve those goals. I think the key word in that isn't necessarily massive, but consistent. Massive action is, I think, affects how quickly we achieve those goals, whereas consistent action affects whether we're going to actually achieve them or not. Because when you start thinking in the terms of, it's not about whether I'm going to achieve the goal or not, it's about how long it's going to take me to achieve the goal. That's what we're talking about here, because you can achieve the goals. And you set your mind to it, you have passion behind it, you have purpose with the goal, then you can achieve it. It's just taking the steps, the massive action, the consistent action to do it. And being determined and being perseverant. And, that means days when you got a journey kickoff call with a new client and you aren't feeling it. Or you know what, maybe you are currently off program or you've taken a break or whatever. There's no judgment in that. But you know what really matters is when you step up and you do the journey kickoff call anyway, because it's not about us at that point. It's about that person on the other end of the phone that's excited. They're ready to get started. You know, they're at the beginning of their health journey, and you're there for them to provide that guidance. You know, you're not there to, you know, push them along, but at the same time, it's doing the work like that when you don't feel like doing it. And that's where you start to become, you know, this leader that is the type of person that decides to do it anyway, because you know it's benefiting your family, it's benefiting your team, it's benefiting the world. You're working outside of what matters to me. You're working in that zone of I'm making a difference by doing this call, which maybe sounds silly to some people. I do this journey kickoff call and I'm going to change the world. But you know what? Changing the world starts with one journey kickoff call at a time. So there is some truth to that. So now we're going to talk about simplification and duplication. These are the two things that if you can do with your business, and this is what your mentors are here for, trying to give you some structural tools, trying to help you work through, you know, that client support piece, that coach support piece when you're bringing on coaches. If you can add simplification and duplication to everything you do, then that's how your business grows in leaps and bounds. If you are an amazing coach and you have an amazing personality and you are just a people magnet and you draw people to you no matter what, that's awesome. But you might sponsor a coach that does not have that same magnetism or doesn't have that same charisma. Can they be an amazing health coach? They absolutely can, as long as we are making this business simplified and something that they can duplicate, because they don't feel like they have to be you to run that business, to grow the same business as you. And I think that's a really important thing that we can learn as leaders as we move forward into 2019, is that if I make this easy enough and I make it to where everyone, you know, from D personality type, if you took that to an I, to an S, to a C, everyone on that whole range can do what I do from a standpoint of, you know, the checklist type things, then that gives me the opportunity to empower everyone to grow a giant business. And you don't have to be a certain person or a certain personality type to grow a business. Hopefully that makes sense. So these are the key things. So we're going to end here, but I'm going to talk through this a lot. And because I think this is the key, I know some of y'all may have saw I post this as we move forward. So this is something that Charlene and I were talking about and kind of came up with this very basic timeline. So there's a lot of pieces to this. So I want you to look at it, screenshot it, whatever. There's a graphic in the Team Time event, and I'll post the graphic again in our coach support page. This is what the first 30 days of a client on Optavia looks like ideally. If you do these things over and over and over and over again, even though they're very simple, you are going to not only sponsor clients and support them well, they're going to become coaches. And then you are going to be able to help yourself and them grow big businesses, because you're going to pass this tool on to them and they are going to be able to duplicate it in their business. So it starts. Your client orders the program. So there's a lot of little pieces of this we could talk about for a long time. A lot of reasons why, but I'm just going to give you an ideal Optavia way. The client orders the program, they get a kit. They either get the on-the-go kit or they get the general variety kit if they're doing the Optavia Essentials, or they may want to do the Optavia Select. Or there's always the MetaFast, the classic fuelings. We don't have a kit for that, so you would always have to build that. But always, my thing, and it's completely up to you, run your business, I always go with Optavia Essentials and then ask them if they are interested in having non-GMO foods only, then we go up to Optavia Select. Because I know the essentials, they're going to get probiotics, they're going to get all their vitamins, including extra vitamin D, and they're not going to get any artificial ingredients, which a lot of people care about now. So that's where I start. And if you start a little different, that's okay. I'm just showing you what like the path looks like moving forward, and what I have done in the last 2 years to grow the business that I have. Then client messages start using the Google Tracker. So if you're not using the Google Tracker, this is not judgment. But I will tell you, if you can take time to sit down and look at the Google Tracker and really try to embrace that tool, it will ignite your business, because it's a very simple tool that once you have it learned, you can run your whole business from Google Tracker. New clients, new coaches, daily messages, how to respond to people on Facebook, everything's in there. So if you aren't familiar with the Google Tracker, I'm here. I'm happy to talk to you about it, step you through it. We have lots of resources to kind of help you with that. So it's really important you go ahead and start the client with the messages using the Google Tracker, because there's 4 messages that go to a client before they actually start. Next, journey kickoff call completed and your 1-week tip call scheduled. And so you know the deal with the journey kickoff call. We send the message that day, and then they have a little video to watch. So always, confirming that they have taken the time to watch the video that explains the whole spiel of the fuelings and how all that stuff works and the healthy fats and all that thing. So that way, when you get on the phone for the journey kickoff call, you're just answering questions and then encouraging them for day 1. And that becomes a 5 or 10 minute call, instead of you trying to get them to flip through the book and you are on the phone for 30 or 40 minutes doing a journey kickoff call. So this is a huge time saver, but you have to, start with the Google Tracker to get there. And then if they are open to it, and you say, go ahead and schedule the 1-week tip call, because what will happen is if they are crushing program, they're doing awesome, you're going to jump on to that 1-week tip call just to make sure we fine-tuned everything. And you know what? It's going to really help them move forward, and it's going to help encourage them. So go ahead and schedule that for day 8, 9, 10 is usually that window that I try to schedule it in, because you want them to have their week 1 results so you can celebrate that. And then, kind of go over those tips. Next, tip call completed. You see that after day 7. So once again, day 8, day 9, day 10, somewhere in that little window, find a time that y'all can chat for 15 minutes. It really doesn't take long as you stick to the script, go through the questions, and kind of troubleshoot with them, identify any areas where we can fine-tune the program for them and make sure that they are in a really strong fat burn. If you've looked at the tip call, then there is an example of what you say at the bottom to invite them to post on Facebook. So if they're open to that, and that's the way it unfolds on the bottom of that, ask them if they're open to posting. So then ideally, in the ideal world, since that's what we're doing, the client's going to post on social media. Then it's our job to nurture that post as their coach. So they're going to tag us in the post. We're going to see it. Then as people comment, and you have someone that asks about the program, you're going to write a comment below that and tell them that you are going to send them some information. And that way you take the stress off the client for trying to answer everybody, and they are more agreeable to do those things. Now, the important part then is that client goes into Facebook Messenger, and they are going to start a 3-way conversation, because the way Facebook is now is if I am the client and I post for my mom and my friend are not friends, and my friend asks for information, my mom sends her a message, it's going to go to their little junk box. It probably they won't even know they got the message, because my mom and that person aren't friends on Facebook. But if I start a 3-way conversation with my mom and that friend of mine, then my friend is going to see it because we're friends. So hopefully that makes sense. And then what happens next? The client becomes a coach because they have a lot of people interested, and that gives you the opportunity to explore coaching with that client. And that's a little bit more of a process, but we can talk about that another time. That person either becomes a coach or they become referrals. So either way, it's a good situation. You're going to help more people either way. Either you're going to partner with the client that becomes a coach and help coach as a team, or that coach or that client's friends and family are going to become clients, your frontline clients. And then don't forget this last piece, because this is something, and look, this is full disclosure. This is something I didn't do a lot when I was a baby coach. And it's a very, very important step that we help our clients successfully update their second order. Now, if you have the Google Tracker, there's a little message in there that you send that's got an instructional video that shows them, step by step how to update their order. So as long as they watch that video, they should know how to do it. But we also want to confirm that they watched the video and that they understand how to update their order. And then you get an email when they update their order. So we want to make sure they know that process, because if they don't know that process and they get another kit with the 5 extra boxes and their order is going to be $440 some, they're going to freak out, and then they're going to want to return it. Then they're going to be unhappy because they had a thing auto process and they didn't know. So please just make sure you do that last step. Make sure they understand how to update their order. All right, let me stop share. That's all I got. That's it. It's the first time I've ever finished on time, I think. So that being said, I am open to taking questions. If anyone has questions, I can pull the slides back up. So just come off mute, or you'll have to put in the chat if you want to come off mute, because I muted everyone. Let me see. I can probably unmute everyone. So I'm
in Colorado.
Muting everyone.
February, Raymond for Raymond's work. He's got a training class.
Hold on. So if you have questions, please come off mute, and everyone's off mute. So please just ask if you have a question.
No questions here.
All right. That's good. Does anyone have a question about the Google Tracker? How about this? Put a 1 in the chat if you are using the Google Tracker. And look, if you aren't using it, it's okay. This is not, it's just, I want to see who is actually using it and if you think it's beneficial. Good. So about half so far.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Google Tracker. So I just got like a new iPhone. Can you get the Google Tracker up on your phone? Because I do a lot of my client stuff like on my phone, and that was the only thing I couldn't get the Google Tracker on my old iPhone. But
so there's an app called Google Sheets, and you download that, and it pulls up the tracker. Once you log in with your Facebook or log in with your email, your Google account or whatever.
Okay.
And then you can have everything on your phone, which is really cool, because when you're on the go, then you have all your daily messages, you have your clients in there, and you can track your clients through there and do like a check off when you send day 1, day 2, day 3. So you know exactly where you're at. And that might sound silly if you only have like a few clients, because you can probably do that in your head. But even me, if I'm running 3 brand new clients at a time, I like putting them in there because I like to make sure that I'm tracking everything with them. Because look, full disclosure, we got 3 kids, and and sometimes everything don't go exactly according to plan. So every piece of structure that I can add into my life, even though I am a natural resistor to structure. I don't like for anybody to try to put me into a schedule or to like get me on some kind of regular thing. I like to do something different every day. But I promise you, like, my life got a lot simpler once I started utilizing that Google Tracker and started plugging everything in there, because I had a client one time too that when I was on the go, she was like, "What did I tell you my starting weight was?" And I had no idea. I pulled my tracker up on my phone and boom, there it was. Because all that's in there and it makes it super easy for you to, and you don't have to carry it around your binder. Now, if you love the binder and you don't mind carrying the binder system around with you and you have all your health assessments in there, great. Don't stop. Keep doing it. But this Google Tracker is highly portable and auto saves, and it's not going to get lost or rained on, or it's really easy. And as far as that goes, any other questions? Awesome.
I have one.
Fire away, Gail.
Who else is going on the cruise?
Me.
Just you? The only one on our team?
Well, we had, just to be honest, we're not telling names, but we had 2 coaches that would have very easily qualified for the cruise but didn't care. And so, I know, right? So, and that's it. Look, it's okay. And that's why I said I'm not going to say any names, because it's their choice and they do what they want. They could have very easily qualified and didn't care. And then we have one coach we're trying to get a teeny tiny exception because they did care and they really worked hard. And so we're still waiting to hear back from the company for that. So hopefully that is going to work out.
Cool.
But I'm super excited. I wish you were all going. It would be much more fun.
For you. I wanted to go too.
It would have been much more fun if you all went and we could have a cruise together. I'm going to stop the recording.